Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the virtual public informational meeting for state project number 95260, replacement of bridge number 5325 on Wheaton Road over the East Aspetuck River in the town of New Milford. My name is Mark Burns, and I'm the program manager for the local bridge program at the Connecticut Department of Transportation. There's some quick ways you can contact us through email, phone, or visit the project webpage. This is a quick slide on how to view closed captions through Zoom. And closed captioning, including non-English translation options, are available on YouTube after the live event. It's a quick slide as well on how to access the Zoom Q&A. So that way, during the Q&A session, you'll be able to ask us a question to the panel and we can answer promptly. If you're an audio-only participant, you can dial *9 as well. As I said, my name is Mark Burns. I'm the project manager for the department. This is my contact information. Goals for tonight's meeting: interacting with the project team. We'll explain the federal local bridge program, design managed by state or DMS program. We'll have welcoming remarks by the town of New Milford. Project team introductions. And then we'll have a formal presentation of the design progress, which will explain the condition of the existing bridge and define the purpose and need, and recommend our viable proposal. Please understand that these plans are only at 30%, and this is the time that we go to the public to solicit input. Following the presentation will be an open forum for your questions. This is how you can reach the project team for the Q&A by email at dot-flbp@ct.gov, by phone at 860-594-2020, which is a modern voicemail line. In the Zoom Q&A, questions will be answered in the Zoom chat. And we also encourage you to visit the project webpage. If you have a question, but you don't have it, if you have a question at a later date, comment period is open until July 29th. I'll now read this slide on Title VI, Civil Rights. No person shall on the basis of race, color, or national origin be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project. We highly encourage you to fill out the voluntary post-meeting survey located at the hyperlink and QR code below. And there's on a slide to reach the links to reach the civil rights information from the Department's Office of Equity and Environment Title VI. The recording of this presentation will be posted to YouTube after the event. Closed captioning, including non-English translation options, are available on Zoom and YouTube. This is another slide on Title VI regarding notice to the public. The project is funded under the Federal Local Bridge Program, Design Managed by State, or DMS program. In the past, projects were funded with an 80% federal and 20% town match for design, rights-of-way, and construction. Under the DMS program, design, rights-of-way, and construction phases are now funded with a minimum of 80% federal and a maximum of 20% state funds. So there's zero cost to the town for any phase of the project. Now, even though the department is overtaking the design on behalf of the town, it is still a full partnership in coordination with the town, and the town is provided the opportunity to comment at the key project milestones. The goals of the DMS will provide a streamlined approach to design using full CTDOT resources to aid the towns to keep their bridges in a state of good repair by effective use of funds, to decrease typical design time from 60 months plus to 24 to 36 months, depending on permits, and to utilize accelerated bridge construction techniques, or ABC, to shorten construction duration. I will now turn it over to Jack Healy, Public Works Director for the town of Milford, for some remarks. Jack.
Thank you, Mark. Good evening. Mayor Bass could not make the presentation tonight, so I'm going to step in for him to give the remarks. Welcome to this presentation for the Wheaton Road Bridge. This would be the fourth bridge that we've partnered with DOT in this fashion. We finished the Upland Road Bridge last year, and I think it was a very big success. It looks very good, and it was done per the schedule that Mark indicated. Again, this is at 100% federal and state costs. The town of Milford does not pay anything for this. It's a very good partnership. We're able to accelerate the design and construction of these bridges. We also have Van Car Bridge and Sand Road Bridge currently going through the program. So the town of Milford, at the end of the day, will have had 4 bridges in the last, last year up through 2026. We'll have 4 bridges gone through this program. So we thank Mark and all of the team who's on this call for their guidance and helping us get these bridges done in a timely fashion at no cost to the town of Milford. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. I'll now introduce the representatives of the project team. From the Department of Transportation is our Division Chief, Bart Sweeney. Derek Lassard is Principal Engineer of the CLE Group. As I said, I'm Mark Burns, Project Manager. Jeff Organic is the Project Engineer. And from the Office of Rights of Way is Zachary Garita. From Post Jensen Miller, who is the department's Consultant Liaison Engineer, is Jim Claytosh, Project Manager, and Jim Otis, Project Engineer. Here's a quick elevation view of a bridge structure, key bridge structural elements, as well as condition ratings. Carrying the public, whether it be vehicle or pedestrian, is the deck. The parapets act as a barrier for vehicles and pedestrians. Supporting the deck and parapet is the bridge superstructure. In this case, it's steel beams, similar to the Wheaton Road Bridge. Supporting the superstructure will be abutments, as shown. The abutments act as a support, otherwise known as a substructure. In some cases, depending on the length of the superstructure, there'll be pier or multiple piers. Acting as earth retention will also be weight walls. And then bridges, depending on how deep bedrock is, will either be pile supported or on a spread footing. Bridges are also rated on a scale condition rating of 1 to 9, with 9 being excellent and 1 being an imminent failure. But in any event, the department's bridge safety unit inspects all bridges in the state on a biennial basis. And if there was any concern, they would notify the town immediately. Here's a side view of this, in this case, a precast concrete rigid frame, but we want to highlight the steel piles to show how abutments would be supported with piles. This is a quick example of some different concrete deterioration. Efflorescence is a condition that occurs when there's a reaction causing that white substance to come out of the concrete. Honeycombing is a situation where the concrete did not set up properly, and then when the form was removed, you have these gaps as shown. Scaling is a result of deterioration over time, also as a result of water infiltration, which causes the cracking on the surface. Map cracking is another result of infiltration. And in a more severe condition is spalling, when the exterior surface of concrete has fallen off and the reinforcing steel is exposed beneath. I will now turn it over to Jim Otis, who can begin the formal presentation. Jim?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for listening in and watching this virtual public info meeting. Bridge 5325 carries Wheaton Road over the East Aspetuck River, about 300 feet east of US Route 202, which is also Litchfield Road. And this bridge is also less than 50 feet east of Old Mill Road, which is a narrow gravel road along the West Riverbank. Wheaton Road is functionally classified by the Department of Transportation as a local urban street. Here's an aerial view of the bridge location. The land surrounded or around the bridge is occupied by a residence to the northwest, a cemetery to the southwest, municipal land and a municipal park, which is Carlson's Grove Public Park to the east, and a farm to the northeast. This slide shows the existing right-of-way and property lines near the project, highlighted in yellow. The Wheaton Road right-of-way is 50 feet wide at the bridge, which is located here where I'm pointing with the laser pointer. The existing structure was built about 40 years ago in 1985 It has a multi-girder steel beam and reinforced concrete deck superstructure with reinforced concrete abutments and wing walls. The structure has a total length of 35 feet from end to end and a clear span of just over 30 feet underneath. The total width is 26 feet 2 inches and the curb to curb width is 24 feet. There are no sidewalks on the structure or in the project area. The average daily traffic flow on this bridge is about 890 vehicles per day, and the posted speed limit on Wheaton Road is 30 miles an hour. In terms of existing utilities, there are some utility wires located directly over the bridge, just south of the center line of Wheaton Road. The approach, in terms of the condition of the bridge, I'll talk about how the department sees this bridge in terms of its condition. The approach is in satisfactory condition with a rating of 6. The metal beam railing along the approaches are damaged in a few areas, and the pavement exhibits some raveling and evidence of past chip seal application. The deck geometry has an appraisal rating of 4, which means it's tolerable to be left in place as is. And from a structural standpoint, the deck is in good condition. There are areas of light raveling and cracks in the bituminous concrete overlay, and the concrete deck underside has light to moderate honeycombing and areas of light efflorescence. The superstructure, however, is in poor condition with a condition rating of 4. A girder G1, which you see in the photo, has an area of laminated rust, 11 feet long by up to 7 inches high, with up to a 1/4 inch of deep section loss. This girder also has a hole in it, 14.5 inches long, up to 3.5 inches high over the bearing at abutment 2, and there are other areas of section loss near abutment 2 as well. Girders G2, G8, G9 also exhibit areas of laminated rust, and a couple of these girders have notable section loss near abutment 2, and some of the bottom flanges of the steel beams have moderate to heavy rust. The substructure, the concrete part that in contact with the ground, is in good condition with a rating of 7. The abutments exhibit random pop-outs, light scaling, some shallow rebar, and minor honeycombing, and the wing walls exhibit moderate scale and minor erosion. The channel rating is 6. Upstream and which is satisfactory. Upstream and downstream embankments have some undercutting and exposed tree roots, with vertical erosion up to 2 feet high and lateral erosion up to 2 feet back. The department's 1998 Bridge Scour Evaluation Report and its 2022 Inspection Report classify this bridge as scour critical based on unknown foundation conditions. And the 1998 analysis noted scour evidence of this bridge at both abutments and upstream. In that 1998 report contained a comparative scour analysis that suggested the bridge could be undermined in the future under certain circumstances. So the proposed replacement bridge here consists of a concrete box beam superstructure on reinforced cast in place integral abutments. This bridge would consist of 7 4-foot wide precast box beams overlain with a concrete shear slab, membrane waterproofing, and 3-inch minimum wear surface. The concrete integral abutments will be founded on piles, and the wing walls will be cast in place. The total structure length will be 69 feet. The bridge rail will transition to concrete end walls treated with concrete form liners. The minimum bridge curb to curb width will be 25 feet to match or exceed the existing 24-foot wide roadway, and that the bridge will carry 2 10-foot wide travel lanes and have 2 2 to 3 foot wide shoulders. The overall out-to-out width will be 28 feet 6 inches, and the estimated initial construction cost is $2.265 million. The proposed roadway work includes construction of MASH-compliant guide rail on the west approach. That means the guide rails will meet current criteria, safety criteria. There will be drainage improvements west of the bridge, and paved aprons for Old Mill Road and 2 driveways, which are shown in yellow. No sidewalks are to be constructed on the proposed bridge, as there are no existing sidewalks or municipal plans for sidewalks near the project site. A portion of Wheaton Road will be closed during the bridge work, and traffic will be detoured for the 6 to 8 month project construction duration, from April to September, or possibly the end of November at the latest. The 2.3 mile, 5-minute detour will use State Route 202 and Upland Road, as shown in the graphic on this screen. This proposed road closure will allow the contractor to finish up the bridge work more quickly and economically. And it's also safer for the traveling public and for the contractor's workers if motor vehicles do not drive through the work zone during construction. Old Mill Road will remain a gravel road located north and south of Wheaton Road, except for the very small portions of paved aprons that will tie directly into Wheaton Road. And the short segment north of Wheaton Road will be closed during construction since there is no place to turn around on it. The long segment of gravel road, Old Mill Road, to the south from Upland Road up to Wheaton Road, the vast majority of that, all of that, will remain open except for the northernmost 50 feet adjacent to Wheaton Road, past the turnaround. There's an existing round area that vehicles can turn around. That'll be the where the road terminates during construction. In terms of water handling, temporary coffer dams are anticipated to protect the water course during demolition of the existing bridge substructure, during pile installation, and construction of the new abutments. All that will be done in the dry, away from the water course. And then the embankments will be regraded. Easements and rights to perform construction activities will be required for some of this construction work and for proposed drainage improvements, which you can see here. There's an existing catch basin with a pipe that heads off to the East East Aspetuck River. And as part of this project, that pipe will be rerouted to the downstream side of the road. A small take and drainage right-of-way will therefore be required to construct the drainage outfall near the southwest corner, of the proposed bridge, and construction easements will be needed on the north and south sides of the roadway for bridge work, grading, and temporary utility relocation, which are shown on this slide. The Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection did an initial review of this project. In terms of the natural diversity database, this project is not located near any mapped area of concern for state or federally listed species. And the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection Fisheries Group took a look and noted the presence of a diverse fish community in this river and favored the use of a single span structure such as what we're proposing here. The DEEP also recommended maintaining large boulders that are already located near the existing bridge for the new structure as well. They want to keep some of those boulders in the river, and that's good for the fish. And the DEEP Fisheries Group also listed some date restrictions for what they call unconfined in-water work, which are on this slide in the last bullet. This slide shows the anticipated environmental permits required for the project from the town of New Milford, the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And of course, town residents will have an opportunity to hear details about this project again at the future New Milford Inland Wetlands Commission public meeting, if they choose to attend it. Construction is anticipated to begin in the spring of 2026, depending on the availability of funding, acquisition of easements or rights-of-way, and pending approval of the local, state, and federal permits that I just talked about. The bridge work is expected to take 6 to 8 months to complete, and the town, as I mentioned, or as Mark mentioned, will be reimbursed for 100% of the construction cost. I will now turn the presentation back over to Mark Burns at DOT to discuss rights-of-way issues. Mark?
Thank you, Jim. So Zachary could not be here tonight, but he would speak to the right-of-way slides. Generally, the function of rights-of-way is to acquire all property rights necessary for the project. Statutorily, we follow State of Connecticut CGS Section 13A-73 and 13A-98E, as well as the Federal Uniform Relocation Assistance and Appeal Property Acquisition Policies Act of 1970 as amended. Impacts of the property can be partial acquisitions, easements, or rights. And if there are any impacts to private property, the Division of Rights of Way will contact the property owners directly to work through the acquisition process. That's all I have at this point. Thank you.
Well, everybody, I'll let you know I've been monitoring the email and the telephone message number, and we have no questions that I have received.
Thank you, Jeff. We'll give it a few minutes, and if we see anything come in, we'll answer it. So we'll give it a few minutes.
I'm going to go on mute real quick and check that phone line one more time.
Okay.
Everybody, after a further check of the email and the telephone line, I'm still seeing no questions that have come in yet.
Okay, thank you, Jeff. We'll give it one more minute and then in the meeting.
Everybody, I am seeing a question come in here on the chat. The question is, will there be a follow-up session?
I can answer that. Generally, we have one public informational meeting for the project. If as plans become available, they'll be at the town for review. So if anyone has any questions, they can reach out to Public Works to take a look at plans as they get submitted.
And also, as I pointed out during the presentation, we do expect this project will go before the town of New Milford's Inland Wetland and Watercourse Commission. So folks who live in town will have an opportunity to review the project again when that occurs.
Yeah. Unless we're getting any other questions, I think we can end the meeting. And if you have any questions that come up, the comment period is open for 2 weeks following this meeting. We appreciate everyone's attendance. Thank you very much.
Good night, everybody.
Good.
Well, good evening.
Bye-bye.
Good night.